Proverbs 29, verse 11, King Solomon says, "Fools vent their anger, but the wise quietly hold it back." Have you ever been around someone that struggles to control their emotions? It's amazing how quickly you can lose respect for someone that doesn't know how to control certain emotions and feelings in their life. One single outburst or loss of control is something that people can remember about you for the rest of your life. It can especially be detrimental to leaders. Emotional outbreaks like that ultimately break trust. And here's something about trust. Trust is gained in drops and lost in buckets. What took you years to obtain in trust can be lost in a single uncontrolled outburst in one moment. So, learning how to control your emotions and control your tongue is crucial to having health in relationships and building trust and credibility over time. So don't be the one that's constantly venting their emotions to others. Be the one that can quietly control them and process them in a healthy way. Verse 25 says this, "The fear of man is a trap, but the one who trusts in the Lord is protected." One of the things that is really difficult in our culture today is fear of man. Fear of man is you're just consumed by what other people think about you. The idea, the reputation that you have in other people's minds. So I want to free you a little bit from the trap of people pleasing. It's what Solomon is warning his sons about as well. The problem about worrying what other people say about you and what other people think about you is this. A lot of what they say and think about you is wrong. Wrong about what's needed in your life, wrong about you. They're underestimating the power that God has when He has His hand on your life. So many times in my life, I've realized that God was right and the people around me were wrong. I'll give you a few examples. Alexander Graham Bell, inventor of the telephone. When his telephone product came to market, people mocked him over it. Western Union got the offer to purchase the patent of the telephone for $100,000. Now, Western Union, telegrams, written letters for communication. Well, the CEO of Western Union declined to buy Alexander Graham Bell's telephone. Here was his quote, "The telephone is an electrical toy with no commercial possibilities. We see no way in which businesses can be enhanced by the telephone." Oops. Alexander Graham Bell couldn't focus on the fear of man, what other people thought about him or what he was doing in their life, because they ended up being completely wrong. Henry Ford, inventor of the automobile, he was the same way. He was trying to convince his lawyer at the time to invest in this strategy of the assembly line and making gas-powered automobiles. Well, the lawyer for Henry Ford went to his banker and asked for some investment in life. He said, "Hey man, I got this thing. It's called the Model T. It's going to be an automobile. Henry thinks it's going to change the world, man. He thinks this is going to be really replace transportation as we know it." Here was the quote from the banker. He encouraged the lawyer. I wouldn't invest in that company. Here was what he said. "The automobile is just a fad. The horse is here to stay." Oops. Don't worry about what other people think about your life and what's going on, what God has called you to do. Too many times they are wrong. That's the problem with your life revolving around the approval and the opinions and the affirmation of people. A lot of times they're wrong. Spend your life striving to be a man or a woman of God, trusting in God, taking His thoughts, His words, and prioritizing them, because they're never wrong. They've never changed. God's never had an opinion that He's had to pull back and say, "Oh, my bad, I actually got that one wrong." God is batting 1,000%. And so if you want to have a fear and respect and have an awe for God, not for the opinion of man. Anger issues and the approval of God. That's Proverbs chapter 29.